Greetings! I am Herbert Erpaderp, and today I'm going to assemble this Cryx Battlegroup. I've never played War Machine before, or built any of the models, but it looks fun and the models look pretty damned awesome, so I figured I'd build an army starting with this box set. Opening the box, we can see there is a quick start rule set, which I think is great, though it does fold out a bit awkwardly. Also included is a copy of No Quarter magazine. I would assume this is quite an old issue, but it's a nice inclusion anyway. As you see here, the models come in little bags. This seems like a good idea to me considering the parts are loose and not on sprues. And finally, you get stat cards for all the models. Now to start building. I started with the Warcaster, in this case it's Warwitch de Negra. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. The model is quite nice, but unfortunately there are a lot of mould lines. Out of the 5 models in the box, this had the worst mould lines. Not to worry though, a bit of blurry and off-camera scraping and she's ready for glue. Now I didn't realise at the time, but the Tamiya cement I was using actually doesn't seem to work on these models. The box says they're plastic, and it seemed to work at first, but I was able to gently pull the pieces apart, so I used super glue. I guess some research to begin with would have been a good idea. It would seem they're actually resin and not plastic. I had no idea because I'm a numpty. As for assembly, it's very easy even though there are no included instructions. All the parts seem to slot together in a particular way, which does limit the variation, but it makes assembly a lot easier. She looks pretty cool, I think. Now onto the Defiler Bonejack. It had a lot less flash than the Warcaster. Aw, look at that little face. Mold lines are easy enough to clean up, but it does take a lot of time. Assembly was very easy, again using the wrong glue. I quite like that the leg pins are designed so that you can't put them in the wrong way without some effort. The small number of parts make this very quick and simple. Now for the Slayer Helljack. This guy had the most parts out of all the models, but it was still fairly straightforward. Not too much in the way of flash, but it did have this big ugly lumpy bit where I figure the sprue gate joined the model. It seems like kind of bad placement. Overall it's pretty good though. He has a very friendly face. It was during this assembly that I realised I had been using the wrong glue and switched over to my trusty super glue. Other than that, I had no problems and he turned out to be quite the happy looking chap indeed. Finally, there are 2 Death Ripper Bonejacks, which are the same as the Defiler Bonejack except for the head, and so the assembly is essentially the same except for the head, which is 2 parts you need to glue together before attaching them to the body. And there we have it, one completed Cryx Battlegroup. I've only blue tacked the models to the bases for the time being because I'm going to decorate the bases separately. It would be a pain in the ass trying to build the base around the model or paint the model around the base. It'll be much easier to join them together later. I really am quite pleased with how these turned out. They were very easy to put together and would have been quick had I not had to clean up so many mould lines. Still, not as bad as Games Workshop mould lines. I guess I'm spoiled a little bit by companies like Plastic Soldier Company who produce models with little to no flash. The whole resin labelled as plastic thing is a little bit annoying, but it's not really a big deal, and I'll know for the future. I do have a whole lot more Cryx models to work on already, and hopefully they're all as nice as these ones. I think these will be a little bit challenging to paint, but it will be fun, and of course there'll be a video when I do get around to it. I must first ponder on which colour scheme I should use for my Cryx army. Maybe hot pink. Yes. I don't know much about playing the game at all, but I definitely recommend these models. They're awesome, and this box set, or one for the other factions, seem like a great way to get into the game. I hope this has been helpful or interesting for you. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thanks for watching. Farewell.